feel exhausted, unmotivated, or like you've lost your spark, nothing is wrong with you. You are not lazy. You are not broken. You are simply living against the rhythm of life itself. You are not meant to be on the go all year. You are not broken. You are seasonal. But the world we live in doesn't tell you that. It tells you to be productive every day, every month, every year. It tells you to bloom endlessly, like a flower forced to stand in summer forever. But nothing in nature works like that. Not the trees, not the rivers, not even you. When you feel tired, when you feel like you're withdrawing, when stress makes you wonder what's wrong with you, maybe nothing is wrong at all. Maybe you are simply in your winter, and if we could understand that, truly, stress would begin to loosen its. Look outside. The earth herself tells the truth. Spring comes with tender shoots of green, a time for beginnings, for ideas, for growth. Summer blazes with energy, light, connection, and expansion. Autumn whispers, let go. Gather what matters, release what doesn't. And winter? Winter is the great pause, stillness, rest, the quiet where life gathers its strength to return again. Our ancestors lived by this wisdom. In winter, they didn't force themselves to plow fields or exhaust their bodies. They sat by fires. They told stories. They repaired tools. They let themselves rest because they knew life is not a straight line. It is a circle. But here we are, centuries later, trying to override that rhythm. Artificial lights trick us into thinking the day never ends. Work emails follow us home. Our phones make sure silence is impossible. And we wonder why we are so stressed, so tired, so disconnected. It's because we're trying to be summer all year long. And that's not just unnatural. It's unlivable. Now let's look inward. Because your body, that is everyone listening, has its own seasons too. Traditional Chinese medicine has always known this. For thousands of years, it's been teaching that each organ, each emotion, each part of you has its time to rise, flourish, and rest. Spring belongs to the liver. This is the season of wood, of growth. When your energy wants to move forward, plan, to expand. But if that energy gets stuck, it turns to frustration, to anger, to restlessness. Summer belongs to the heart. Fire season, a time of connection, joy, laughter, love. The heart is at its most open. But if this fire blazes out of balance, it burns too hot, anxiety, scattered energy, emotional overwhelm. Late summer belongs to the spleen. Earth season, a time for nourishment, harvest, and stability. When balanced, it grounds you. But when stress hits here, it becomes overthinking, worry, feeling heavy or stuck. Autumn belongs to the lungs. Metal season, the time of letting go, like trees releasing leaves. When your lungs are in balance, you feel clear, open, able to breathe. When they're burdened, grief and sadness linger. Winter belongs to the kidneys. Water season, the deepest rest. A time for retreat, reflection, and storing wisdom. If you deny this season, fear creeps in. Exhaustion follows. Because winter is when your body recharges its core life force. Do you see? You are not meant to be in one state all the time. Your body itself is seasonal. Every imbalance, every stress pattern, is often just a sign that you're ignoring the season your body is asking for. Maybe your soul is calling for winter rest, but you keep pushing it into summer's fire. Maybe your heart is begging to breathe in autumn's clarity, but you cling to everything you should have let go. Stress is not always the enemy. Sometimes it's just the body's way of saying, you're out of season. Come home. And then there's the mind, the most restless part of us all. Your thoughts, your creativity, your focus. They move in cycles too. But society doesn't tell you that. It tells you to always be sharp, always be switched on, always creating, always producing. But here's the truth. The mind has its own inner seasons. Spring of the mind. Inspiration bursts like new shoots. Ideas, visions, excitement. Summer of the mind. Creativity blossoms. You're in flow, building, making, expanding. Autumn of the mind. Reflection, analysis, the sorting of what's worth keeping and what can be released. Winter of the mind. Stillness. A time when the mind slows, when silence becomes fertile soil. If you try to live in endless mental summer, always creating, always consuming, you burn out. That's why so many of us feel exhausted even when we've done nothing but scroll. The mind isn't given its autumn or winter. And when we don't allow the winter of the mind, stress becomes constant noise. But when we do, when we honor silence, when we let our minds rest in stillness, ideas return like spring again. Your stress is often not because you're broken. It's because your mind has forgotten its seasons. Now the deepest layer, The soul itself. Your soul doesn't move in straight lines. It doesn't just awaken once and stay there. It moves in spirals, in seasons, in rhythms as old as the stars. Spring of the soul, awakening. The moment you see beyond the surface of life. You feel alive, connected, full of possibility. Summer of the soul, expansion. Love flows easily. Synchronicities appear. Your spiritual life feels warm and abundant. Autumn of the soul, release. Old patterns fall away. You grieve what you're losing, but you know you can't carry it into the next season. Winter of the soul, the dark night. Silence, stillness. Sometimes it feels like loss, emptiness, or even death. But this is not the end. It's the preparation for rebirth. Every mystic, every shaman, every monk has walked these seasons. The Desert Fathers called it desolation. Buddhists call it emptiness. Shamans call it initiation. And here's the truth. Stress, depression, even despair, sometimes they are not signs of failure. They are the winter of the soul. And if you let yourself rest in that winter, spring will come again. So why do we feel so stressed? Because the modern world has declared war on seasons. It tells you, work endlessly, never pause, keep scrolling, keep buying, keep blooming. But when you live against your own rhythm, the cost is burnout. Insomnia from ignoring the winter of night. Anxiety from refusing the autumn of letting go. Exhaustion from forcing summer energy in winter's quiet. Stress is not just about work or family pressure. Stress is the body, mind, and soul saying, you've forgotten the cycle. You're out of rhythm with life. So how do we come back? How do we live seasonally again? Eat with the seasons. Fresh greens in spring, fruits in summer, roots in autumn, warm broths in winter. Your body craves what nature provides. Work with light. Let sunrise wake you. Let sunset remind you to slow down. Artificial light tricks your body into endless summer. Honor rest as much as action. Write winter days into your schedule. Times for silence. Stillness, not producing. Use sound. Play frequencies like 432 Hz for grounding, 528 Hz for renewal. Let sound remind your cells what harmony feels like. Mark transitions. Light a candle when moving from work to home. Step outside at dusk. Create small rituals to remind your nervous system that the season is shifting. When you begin to live like this, stress doesn't vanish, but it transforms. It stops being chaos. It becomes a rhythm you can dance with. Science now confirms what wisdom traditions always knew. Everything is cyclical. Circadian rhythms govern sleep and wake. Hormones rise and fall with light and darkness. Seasonal affective cycles influence mood. Brainwaves move through patterns of rest and activity. Physics itself says, life is oscillation, vibration, wave. Nothing is static. Traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, indigenous cultures, they all spoke the same truth. Life is not linear, life is seasonal. Stress is not cured by fighting. It is healed by remembering the circle. Our ancestors lived this truth. In winter, they gathered around fires, told stories, repaired tools, and rested. In spring, they planted, celebrated fertility, and began anew. In summer, they feasted, danced, expanded. In autumn, they harvested, gave thanks, and released. Every culture encoded this in myth. Persephone descending into the underworld in winter, returning in spring. The phoenix burning to ash, then rising anew. The yin and yang, eternal dance of opposites and balance. They knew that stress, imbalance, and illness come when you fight the cycle. And healing comes when you align with it. So hear this truth, you are not broken, you are seasonal. Your stress is not always failure. It may just be a sign you are living out of rhythm. And the moment you remember the seasons, you begin to heal. Let yourself have your winters. Honor your springs. Celebrate your summers. Release in your autumns because you, like the earth, are meant to live in cycles. If this message spoke to you, leave a heart in the comments to remind yourself, I honor my season. And subscribe to Valkyrie 338, where we don't just find the light, we become the light.